Great Thursday morning, everyone. Get on up. It's time to get moving, get going. Or for some of y'all who laying in the bed watching right now, enjoy yourself, okay? But like I say every morning, I hope and pray all is well with each and every one of you. I'm going to get into today's topic real quick. Today's topic is something that for the past couple years I've been talking to different people about this, and so I feel under appreciated in my marriage. When we talk as husbands and wives about our spouses, so say for instance for my husband, I might say, oh, he's a good man, he gets up and he goes to work. Yeah, he's a good dad. Those are generally some of the common phrases that spouses say about each other. But have you ever thought or asked yourself as a husband or a wife, do you undervalue your spouse? What else that they bring beyond that to your marriage? And so I'll make it plain here in just a minute. And even for those, because definitely those who are in a relationship, they're single, they're dating someone, they've been dating them for 5 or 6 years, and it seems like the relationship is not progressing anywhere. It's staying stagnant right there. It's in a place of comfort. I definitely hear, especially women say this, I feel undervalued, I feel underappreciated. If you all leaving comments, I can't see it. I don't know what's going on with this video on the day, but good morning. Thank you for joining me or whatever. So hopefully they'll pop up later. But I often say this to people. I know sometimes in my marriage, and I'm going to be honest, I felt undervalued when it came to things. And I ain't going to say undervalued, but more so underappreciated when it came to certain scenarios. And I'm sure my husband has felt, the same way, because in our marriage, it was a growing process. You know what I'm saying? We had to have growth and we had to appreciate each other's skills. And so say for instance, I'll say me and my husband in business, to kind of try to get you to really understand where I'm coming from. I was just telling somebody this about 2 or 3 days ago. So I use a business situation that me and my husband went through, and then you can kind of see where I'm coming from. So me and my husband, actually we'll be closing it down this month, but we own a business here in the local area, and it was open. God put it on our heart to bless those in the community. Hey, Simone, to bless those, in the community and different things that he desired for us to do. Well, once it got to the point where the community wanted, to use our space as venues, rental venues, they said that's something that the community, could use. And the thing about it is we didn't charge people that much that we should have. We really didn't. Compare you to my 1,900 square foot of space. That's like almost a house for some people. But good morning, Andre. We did not, I know, right? We didn't charge people that much because we just wanted to be a blessing to the community. Well, with that comes signing a contract. So we created this contract, and long story short, people used to come in and they'll, go through everything and, oh my God, you all space is nice, and this is what I want to do for my daughter, my mom, or whatever they're having the event for, and baby shower. And I'm like, oh, that's such a blessing. And then when we get to the contract part, it's like, well, I don't know, y'all are a little expensive, which I knew we wouldn't, because we was way below value, and they didn't want to sign the contract. And so what I had to learn is that once I took them through the initial showing, my husband, okay, well, I'm going to have a schedule appointment for my husband, or my husband's right here. He can review the contract with you, because my husband's like, no, they got to sign the contract. And I'm like, but baby, they, and they don't have that much. And then he was like, no, they have to sign a contract. And so later on, I went and asked him, baby, because he's a business major, his undergrad is business or whatever. And I said, babe, so why do people have to sign a contract? He said, baby, you got to think about it like this. He said, say we let somebody use it for free, and then somebody slip and fall and bust their head, or they trip over something or whatever that they've set up. He said, that's a liability against us. And so I thought about it. I said, dang, you're right. I say all that to say this. If I undervalue my husband's opinion, that could be a liability. Good morning, Cousin Kim, in the long run. So we need to look at our husbands and our wives and see the value beyond, oh, he's just a good dad. Oh, he gets up and he go to work. What else do your spouse bring to the relationship? Because see, sometimes God will, I know for me, how it works in me and my house, God shows me things in a dream. You see what I'm saying? And he shows me things in a dream. So I am a dreamer. When I do dream, it comes true. I get up, I tell my husband, he already know because we've been married long enough. If my husband validate that thing, especially, or he brings it up in a conversation and I ain't saying nothing to him about it, I know that ain't nothing but God. Good morning, cousin Laretha. Good morning, Brandy. Because God will go ahead and validate, and it's always work like that. So that's value. My husband appreciates, he values me. But oftentimes we just get so comfortable and complacent in a marriage to where we don't really value or whatever. So say like the situation that I went through with our oldest daughter and my husband's ex-wife, you know what I'm saying? Working through those situations, it was some times where I felt undervalued, you know, and these are some good examples that I see. Now, I ain't trying to start no mess in nobody's marriage, but I'm just going to keep it real. So prime example, having a blended family. You know, I had a son, my husband had a daughter, boom, we got married, the Brady Bunch Kings, okay? So having a blended family, sometimes undervalue can happen and show up in a marriage in a way to where it's like, I don't feel, so say me, Shan, I don't feel that I should have to talk to my husband about the things that I talk to the baby daddy about. You see what I'm saying? Which is all wrong. But I'm going to say that off the bat. But my husband could feel undervalued because he like, wait a minute, I'm your husband. So anything that happened, said, whatever the case may be, it need to be ran by, we need to talk about this. You know, I don't need to be the one that you having a conversation and making plans with old baby daddy and I'm on the outside. You see what I'm saying? In blended, because people don't know how to work blended marriages in situations like that when you got step kids that's in play and all that stuff. They don't think you're undervaluing and undermining your spouse. So it shouldn't be if it's going to be some sidebar conversations, it should be between that parent and that baby daddy, the outside person or whatever. That should be the person that felt like they on the outside, the baby daddy. I shouldn't have my husband feeling like he on the outside. And that's a common mistake that a lot of people make. You know what I'm saying? I can appreciate because I've seen this. So say you're single. All my single people out there, right? You have children. You get married. Before you get married, I've seen people where they like, hey, I'm about to get married. I want to introduce you to my fiance. They saying this to the baby daddy or the baby mama. Some baby mamas, most baby mamas don't take it well or whatever. Some baby daddies don't either. But I want to introduce you because I want you to know who's going to be around your child. I want you to put a face with a name, especially if that baby mama or baby daddy is an awesome parent. They're a good parent. But out of respect for the husband to be, and out of respect for, you know, the baby daddy, the baby mom, whatever, I want you to go ahead and meet this and this and this. This is my fiance. We about to get married. I just want you to put a face with a name or whatever in case our child comes around when they come and visit you and they talking about, oh, well, this is James. You know, my mama always talk about James and James and James. There should be a mutual respect. But what you don't do is make the person in whom you're marrying, your spouse, feel undermined and undervalued because you out here having conversation. This could be a business. This could be in life in general. You're out here having conversation about what's going on in your house with everybody else outside your house, but you ain't talking to your spouse. Y'all know that happens a lot. So when your spouse come to you and say, you know what, I feel like you don't appreciate me, because those are common words that are heard. I feel like when I tell you what my opinion is about the situation, you always shoot me down. I'm knocking on somebody's front door on this morning. I don't know who it is, but I need us to wake up and know if your spouse come to you and they're saying these type of things, instead of you getting ready to bite their head off, because that's what usually happens. I don't know what you talking about. You crazy. You tripping. See, here you go with this again. Come on now. I'm talking to somebody out there. Instead of you doing that, take time, because we have 2 ears to listen and we have 1 mouth to speak. Take time. Good morning, Jermaine. How you doing, Pastor? Take time to actually listen to what your spouse have to say. Even if you have to calm down a little bit and say, come back and say, okay, baby, the other day you said that you felt like that I undervalue you, in a calm voice, so that way you can get a calm response. Why do you feel like that? I thought I was doing everything as your wife, you know, to make you feel like that you're valuable or whatever. Because what we tend to do is we fall into this complex where you do your wifely duties and your motherly duties, you do your husband duties, you do your father duties or whatever, and then say God gave me a vision for me and my husband, right? Say God gave me a vision and I'm working on that vision, but I don't include my husband. I need to talk to my husband about it because number one, the two become one flesh. We are one now, what God is doing together. So I need to talk to him about it, and then hoping and praying, which my husband is, that he will be very supportive, and he is. But what we do is, especially for us who's really spiritually, I say spiritually spooky deep, but I'm only clowning when I say that. For those of us that we know, good morning, Yvonne from California, that God gives us insight on the next step that he want, the family to take or whatever. What we do is sometimes we'll undermine our spouse. We won't tell them about it. Or if we tell them about it, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Because people such as myself, who's a perfectionist, in my mind, I think everything have to be perfect before we can move forward. But what I don't understand is because I didn't run it past my spouse, and he may have things to add to whatever God has said. Good morning, Penny, how you doing? Then what I'm doing is hindering and being disobedient from God, because God said move. That's what he said. So when we have things going on, and definitely in dating, I've seen this, where if a person shows you while you're dating that they undervalue you, let me tell you what it sounds like real quick. You have some people, have you ever talked to some people just in general, and they always talk about, man, I did this, I did. Girl, yeah, I. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be a person that they don't even realize that they have those undermining and undervaluing tendencies, because the world is all about them. Oh, my job. Oh, my department. I did. Let the big boss come down and say, oh my God, you did, you did a good job. The way that you work in this department or whatever. Oh yes, I stayed late. I did. And you ain't even been more including the individuals, your team, that helped you get to where you were. So those who are single, I need you to look at that. I need you to listen to that. When someone sits up all the time and all they talk about is y'all gotta forgive me. Somebody done stopped in the car. Y'all know I'm a veteran, right? So I'm sitting up here looking. But when all they talk about is I, that's a red flag, ladies. That's a red flag, gentlemen. Something that you might want to look at, because they don't realize that everything is about them. And so 9 times out of 10, they're going to undervalue and undermine. But in our marriage, if you do that, I need you, as me and my husband say all the time, examine yourself. You see what I'm saying? If your spouse is coming to you, you may think, oh, here we go with this again. Every time we turn around, that's what you always saying. No, that may not even be the case. They're trying to openly communicate with you, as the kings have said. No, you're right, Yvonne. As the kings have said, they try to openly communicate with you, but at every turn, you shut them down. Quit shutting your spouse down. Quit shutting your spouse out. If anybody or anything should have any type of value besides God in your life, it should be your spouse. And then it should be your family. Because if 9 times out of 10 you're undervaluing, undermeaning, and underestimating, and not including your spouse, you're probably doing the same thing to your kids. It's just like it's all about you and everything else is in tow. So don't diminish the gift that God has given your spouse. Because what I've learned in me and my husband's marriage in almost 20 years is his gifts that God has given me and his gifts that God has given my husband. And when we work those gifts together, I'm telling you, God blesses our marriage like never before. When God told us to stop fighting against each other and start fighting with each other against, I almost did a video, which I probably do, us against the world. When you start coming together on one accord with the gifts God gave my husband, gifts that he didn't give me. When I tell you that man can preach a word, you heard me? He goes forth. He knows that word. He is an awesome preacher and teacher, even though he's not currently in that capacity right now. He supports me. I support him. So ask yourself, if you're married, what are the gifts that God has given your spouse that you're diminishing? Because it's all about you. Because you figure that you're the one that's going to make it right. And you the one that's going to get it together. All right? Y'all have a blessed day. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Share this because it's free. Be a blessing, not a curse. And I'll be with y'all later. God bless.